Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Tiana, and if you're returning, it is so nice to see you again. I'm currently filming this on a Monday morning. I'm going to be batch filming my Project Pan That palette and my March empties today, so you'll be seeing that spread out through the throughout the month of April, and I'm really excited about that because I feel like I did pretty good in the month of April. I feel like it was more of a slower month, but I also feel like I did fairly well for a slower month. I am currently in my living room. I'm kind of giving this area a little test for lighting and filming, so we'll see going forward where I'm going to be filming, but for the next couple of videos I'll be bouncing between different locations because I have like all of April's videos already filmed, which is amazing. So anything that I film in April will be pushed to May. So yeah, so let's get into the update for my Pan That palette series. I guess I could technically call this like Pan That Shadow or Panning Shadows or something along that line, because I'm not technically panning the whole palette, but I am working towards panning this whole palette here. I still call it Pan That palette. Let's talk about the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette for this month. So here is how we are looking. I was able to use up a lot. I have less than half, and this whole area by the wall is gone, and I'm almost able to fully use up the two by the wall, as you can see. I did end up using this palette a couple different ways throughout the month of March just to see if my decision to declutter it once I finished this shade was like a good decision. And at first I was going to keep it around because I really do like using this black, but I found this black here at the end of the day would always kind of give me like panda eyes or raccoon eyes, where the black would be under my eyes. And then I reached for a couple of other shades, but there's nothing in here that's like overly inspiring, motivating, anything like that for myself personally. And I just feel like if I could just finish this shade, I would feel so accomplished because I was able to finish a shade and kind of use bits and pieces of this palette. Not just that, my sister is getting married next year, and I know her colors I think are going to be like green, so this would be a nice palette to kind of clean up and give to her in case some of the other girls need different like eyeshadows to use. There's different colors in here. It is an older palette, but the formula of the shadows are still really good in my opinion, so I would feel like okay cleaning it up and passing it on. So that's also another reason why I would just like to finish that shade, clean it up, pass it on, and roll it out of my collection, because I'm not going to reach for it once the brown shade is complete. So throughout the month of March, I wrote down that I used this palette 7 times. I would probably say closer to 10, because I know there were a couple of times I didn't mark it down. There were also some times where I would reach for different shades, so it's not like it was just one shade was used 10 times. I know there was times where I would go in the brown, then I'd go in the black, and then I tried using the brown toppers, so I did use this quite a lot. I don't know if April is the month I'm going to be able to finish it, but I know for sure like May or June, because this shade is going fairly quickly, which is awesome. So we're gonna keep this one in the project. And I'm still working on the Going Coconuts palette. This is the palette that I am focused on using more of, because I did recently go on a trip and I noticed that some of the formulas in here are really starting to change. Not just that, I do recall I was watching a video and someone was saying how old their palettes were, and it got me thinking, like, how old is this palette really? And this one here is well over 6 years old. It's probably 7 or 8 years old. So I'm really planning on using as much of this up as I can. So throughout the month of March, I did really focus on using the shade from the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean, and then I would kind of just reach into here every so often to kind of make a cohesive look if I wanted something a little bit more than just brown. And I also took this shade out here to mix with one of my lotions as a body glow. So I've been really trying to use this palette as much as possible. My main goal for this one, again, is to finish up at least 2 of the shades in here and then maybe hit pan on another. We're gonna see how the palette looks towards the end of the year, because I know there's a couple of shades in here, like this one here is getting extremely dry and chalky. This one is just not performing as well as it used to, and it's getting a lot of hard pan. So we're gonna see at the end of the year like how much I've been able to use it and if it's worth keeping in my collection moving forward. But again, my main goal is to try to finish 2 shades and maybe hit pan on 1. So we'll see. So in the month of March, I have a total of 3 uses on this palette. That is not including the shade right here. And I do believe that I used this a little more than 3 times. I think there were a couple times that I forgot to mark it down. But all in all, I would say 3 uses on this palette. That's not too bad considering I do have a focus shade. So I feel like I'm doing fairly well on this palette here. I feel like the dip in this middle shade is coming along. I feel like I'm finally gaining a little bit of usage on this shade. I know this brown shade here, there is like a dip from when I used to use it for my eyebrows. So hopefully that dip will start to get closer to the pan. And then I know for sure that once I finish this shade in the e.l.f. palette, this will probably be my go-to shade. So I just feel like this one here, once I really start using it, that is when I'm really going to start seeing progress on it. So we'll kind of go from there. So that is my update for this month. We are going to continue keeping these 2 palettes in my collection. I'm really trying to just finish this shade up right here so that I can clean it up, roll it out of my collection, and I have another palette ready to go for this collection as well. And I'm really excited to start using this one a lot more as an everyday palette, so we can really start to play around, hit pan, finish shades, and get use out of the palettes in my collection. So let me know in the comments down below, how long do you think it's going to take me to finish the shade from this palette? Are you working on any specific palettes to hit pan on or finish? Are you working on any specific eyeshadows? Don't forget to subscribe because I am going to be updating my project pan, and I'm also going to be filming a video of all of my makeup, hair care, skincare, and beauty items for the month of March. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.